A new year and new record lows. I'm tracking the brutal cold that could have a big impact on your holiday.
We're wearing wet clothes and then it's cold out, and then the chances of hypothermia increase after that.
First responders can't stay inside to escape the cold. How local rescuers safely respond to emergencies in these dangerous conditions. Plus a New Year's Eve tragedy, how Colorado law enforcement officers are paying tribute to a fallen deputy.
From your home for news, this is WOWT 6 News, live at 5.
We begin with a live look at an icy Missouri River this evening. It is so cold outside, just a few minutes of exposure can lead to serious consequences. Meteorologist Brad Sugden joins us now with a look at the hour-by-hour forecast as we prepare to ring in our coldest New Year ever.
I know. Yay us, right? Well, down we go. Coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Brad, thank you. A lot of people ready for a warm-up. The frigid temperatures, though, they do pose a health risk to anyone outside. But our first responders, they don't have a choice, especially if a fire breaks out. Anastasia Champ spoke with the Omaha Fire Department on the dangers they face. Weberg says water from the hoses freeze onto the ground, so firefighters are cautious when walking outside. Since last week, the brutal temperatures have kept utility crews busy responding to multiple water main breaks. According to MUD, as of this afternoon, crews have been working to repair 5 breaks around the metro. Not only can water main breaks interrupt service, they can also create slick conditions in our sub-zero temperatures. You can report a water emergency by calling 554-7777. The dangerous cold has also prompted churches across our area to cancel activities, including any evening services. You can always find a complete list of closings at WOWT.com and on our 6 News app. Breaking news to tell you about, we are tracking it out of Colorado right now. 5 sheriff's deputies have been shot near Denver. One of them has died. It all started around 5 o'clock this morning. Deputies in Douglas County, Colorado, were responding to an incident of domestic violence at an apartment building. A suspect opened fire, shooting more than 100 rounds. 4 deputies and 2 civilians were wounded in the gunfire. They're expected to survive. Sadly, Deputy Zachary Parrish was killed. He was 29 years old and is survived by a wife and 2 children.
We are deeply saddened by the loss of Zachary. When I sat with his wife and held her hand, I could see in her eyes her life is over.
Just a terrible tragedy there. A procession of fellow law enforcement officers escorted the fallen deputy's body from the hospital. People stood along sidewalks holding flags, some even saluting. Traffic along the highway came to a halt as the procession passed by. Investigators say the suspect in the shootings is also dead. A domestic dispute sends a man to the hospital, then to a jail cell. Shortly after midnight, police were called to a gas station near 13th and Martha. You see it on our map there. They found Christopher Mayo suffering from a minor injury. Officers say he got the injury in a dispute with his ex-girlfriend near 19th and Vinton. According to police, Mayo declined treatment for his injury, but when he learned he was under arrest, he then asked to go to the hospital. Once doctors cleared him, he was booked for domestic violence and drug-related charges. Organizers in New York City honor those killed in an apartment fire. A memorial outside the burned building paid tribute to the 12 victims, including a toddler. May left messages on a sign being used to cover the building. There will be a community prayer service for the victims on Tuesday. In eastern Afghanistan, a bombing at a funeral leaves at least 17 people dead and 13 others hurt. Initial reports say a suicide bomber was behind the attack, but authorities now believe it was a remotely detonated explosion. No group immediately claimed responsibility for the attack, but an ISIS affiliate in the area has targeted officials and security forces in the past. Well, a new year with old challenges at the Nebraska State Capitol. On Wednesday, Nebraska lawmakers kick off a new session with budget issues likely to take most of their attention. The unicameral will work to balance the budget and cut taxes despite facing a projected $173 million revenue shortfall. The short 60-day session could pressure senators to work fast to pass new legislation. On the other hand, we could see a repeat of the gridlock that has plagued the unicam for the past several years. Turning our attention now to sports, Jeff Packer is here with a look at what's going on. Very busy for New Year's Eve.
New year, new coach is what I mean to say.
Yeah.
Scott Frost have a reason to wake up early or somewhat early tomorrow.
A little bit, yeah. Absolutely, a lot of excitement there. Jeff, thank you. Well, warm hearts and warm meals at the Open Door Mission. You see it all there. More than 24 staff and families from Jefferson Elementary braved the cold to feed those in need. The group served breakfast at the Open Door Mission. Jefferson's principal tells 6 News the students at the school are always helping out the community, but this time it's the staff and their families who wanted to step up.
It's amazing to see what caring hearts my staff has, and that they're just so willing and selfless to come out and give of their time on a holiday even, and just know that we are truly giving back to a community that we are highly involved in.
Volunteers say they're happy to help, especially during the holidays. Residents who were served breakfast couldn't be more grateful. Well, accusations of Russian election meddling have dogged President Trump for much of his first year in the Oval Office. Now a new report sheds light on who apparently tipped off the FBI, prompting the investigation in the first place.
Temperatures for the whole viewing area already well below zero, and we're only going to go down from there. I'll track the record-breaking cold coming up.
Plus, how an animal that weighs less than 1/10 of an ounce stopped a passenger plane from reaching its destination.
Closed captioning provided by
Millard Roofing. We'll take it from here.
Breaking news to tell you about right now. A plane carrying 12 people has crashed in Costa Rica, killing everyone on board. Authorities say the 2 crew members and 10 passengers were all foreign. Just look at the video right there. The U.S. State Department is working to determine if any American citizens were on board. Authorities have not released the names of any of the crash victims. Well, the New York Times is shedding light on who apparently tipped off the FBI to investigate Russian meddling in the U.S. election. The report says the information came from an Australian diplomat after he had a meeting with a Trump campaign member. NBC's Jennifer Johnson has our story from Washington. Papadopoulos has pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI. He's now a cooperating witness in this investigation. Well, tonight a suspected shooter is in critical condition after allegedly killing 2 security guards inside a Las Vegas hotel. We're learning new details about those deadly moments. Saturday morning, a guest at the Arizona Charlie's calls security, complaining that 2 men had kicked her out of her room. When 2 security guards got into the room, they were shot and killed. 1 guard was armed, but police say she never drew her gun. Police tracked the suspected shooter to a nearby home where he shot himself, but survived. Take a look at this one. A tiny hummingbird causes a big havoc on a flight from Detroit to Atlanta. Somehow the bird managed to stow away in the cockpit. After an hour of searching, flight crews couldn't find the bird, so the plane took off. But an hour into the flight, the bird emerged. The pilots say they didn't feel safe, so the plane turned around and went back to Detroit. The captain says it was the first time in 20 years of flying that he'd had a bird inside the cockpit. Alrighty, well, it was a different experience for Creighton fans at today's home game. A new bag policy at the CenturyLink Center only allowed fans to bring in a small clutch-sized purse or a clear plastic bag. Our news crew saw several fans using those plastic bags you see there with the Creighton Blue Jays logo. Fans who didn't know about the policy had to choose whether to walk back to their car or dump their bags altogether. The clear bag policy will also be expanding to events at TD Ameritrade Park, including the College World Series. Jeff Packer's back with us. Very busy day at the CenturyLink Center.
It's really tough because I try to match my bag with my outfit. And
didn't work this time?
It just doesn't work when it's clear,
It's too
Collin.
bad.
We got to work on that. Well, Creighton, just a couple more days rest. They'll get another Big East contest. There's no rest for the weary.
Definitely no rest, especially heading into the new year. A lot going on.
Yeah, very busy all the way through January 10th. I think they get 2 games, 2 days in between games, so very busy.
And then maybe a little rest.
Just a little.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Well, continuing coverage tonight on the other side of the world, it is already 2018 in Dubai. People ring in the new year with an amazing light show at the world's tallest skyscraper. And in Malaysia, hundreds of people gathered for a spectacular fireworks presentation. Just beautiful there. For Omahans ringing in the new year, fireworks, they can be set off until 1 tomorrow morning. You have to be at least 16 years old to use them alone. Those aged 12 to 15 can use fireworks under an adult supervision, though. And Omaha police are reminding residents as well, there is a zero tolerance policy for celebratory fireworks. It's dangerous and it could land you in trouble with the law. On the final day of 2017, the latest Star Wars movie becomes the highest earning film of the year despite it just coming out. Star Wars: The Last Jedi brought in more than $52 million this weekend. That brings domestic ticket sales to more than $517 million. Coming in a close second this weekend is Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle with $50 million. And rounding out the top three is Pitch Perfect 3. It earned $17 million in its opening weekend.
All right, well, I lowered tonight's low even more. We'll take a look at just how cold it'll get and when we can finally warm up after the break. I'm like so stunned by the fact that it's already -6. I mean,
It's just
jeez.
wild. It's just wild.
It is. It's like we can't keep up with how cold it's going to be.
I still hurt.
Absolutely. Well, are there you Star Wars fans?
Yeah.
All right. Well, making us smile tonight, a little boy has a prosthetic hand that's making his friends jealous. Just look at that right there. 5-year-old Jacob Taggart's from Arizona and received a custom Stormtrooper hand for Christmas. Jacob was born with a thumb and partial fingers on his right hand. His grandma says his disability made him frustrated trying to fit in with other kids, but look at that now.
Go, kid.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back tonight live at 10.
WOWT 6 News is everywhere. Watch every newscast streamed live on our website and mobile app.